Oh, got my little welding beanie on here. Turn my head around. I got done carbon arcing. It is Sunday, but there's 4 to 8 inches of March snow coming tomorrow, so I know I'll be in the snowplow tomorrow night. I just gotta stay ahead of this stuff because I'm the only one that's doing this particular job. So anyways, you can see I got the plate off on this side, and this is going to be my only mystery how I'm going to get this done, but that's where the axle bolts in. She's cracked all the way through and in about 6 inches, and I have to dig down in there, and there's another compartment inside, so I'm going to get creative and see what I can do to gouge that all out and then fill the hole, or not fill the hole back in, but make it so the bolts can come through. I suspected this side was good, but they put a reinforcement plate on it anyways. Same here, and I was right. This side over here, if you will, I'm going to treat this one a little differently. If you can see, go like this. Should have better light in the shop. Anyways, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. That's a 1 inch deep groove. The crack was underneath that plate. Started here, goes all the way down. There's also here on this side another crack, just like the other side, that I have to take care of. You can probably see when you're grinding the grinding dust has a tendency to stick to the cracks, so you can actually, it helps find them. You can see right in there. But as far as this groove goes, I'm going to full pen weld it from this side because, like I said, there's a compartment in there, and I got it carbon arced all the way through. Same with the top, the T section. I'm more than likely going to put a backer bar underneath, and so I get 100% penetration. Then the other goofy spots I found that were broke were down here where the axle mounts in, and there too I have no real way to get up in that section decently, but here I got it grooved right out, and I'll give it a full pen, usually like a small 035 to put a root pass in there and then fill it up. But the other thing I got to be careful of in this particular instance, here we go again, doing this by myself. The only thing I got to be careful about here is that it's a machine distance, so that the axle fits super snug. And on all Ponzes, if anybody knows them, they take them apart, they are super tight, perfect. They're machine just perfect. So I have to maintain that dimension. I'm going to call that a critical dimension. So I'll put a spreader bar in there. Both sides, they're the same. Weld the crack up, let it cool off, maybe even stress relieve it with a rosebud. And then I'm still up in the air on how I'm going to reinforce this. You know, they put the plate on, which was great. It was, I'm guessing, a field repair, so that was the best they could do. Bar none, that is what they could do out in the field. And me being here in the shop, I can find all this stuff. I have to polish all of this stuff out with a die grinder or a regular grinder, whatever I can. It's another rule for you guys that do this or want to do it. If you carbon arc, everybody and their brother thinks that's ready to go. Weld it, get that graphite, carbon, whatever, carbon. It impregnates itself into that metal. You got to polish that clean. Get every little nook and cranny, snoogy little booger out of there of that copper coating on the rods. It'll get in there, and you can go through all this work and your welds will be no good. So that's what I'm going to tell you. You carbon arc, I don't care if you carbon arc or plasma cut. You know, with the new plasma gouging tools they got, they're pretty sweet, but I don't want to, yeah, another story for another day. They are pretty nice, but the same thing, it just impregnates that metal. You gotta get it clean, you gotta grind that smooth, perfect, get all the little boogers off of there. Like I said, anybody knows the carbon arc rod, it's held together with the thin copper coat, just enough to keep it together. Otherwise it just falls apart. They work good as pencils too if you're a woodworker. So that being said, I'm going to full pen that weld up. Same here, grinder flat, and then like I said, I'm trying to come up with what I'm going to do for this whole area. If I'm going to make myself a really nice plate that goes from here all the way over and around. Hey, do that in the camera, that's kind of fun. Or what I'm going to do, and then what I'm going to do up on the top. Technically, well, getting this fixed and getting it 100% welded through and through is going to at least put it back to its original state. Then whatever I add on to it is going to be mucho grande, un perfecto, hey. So, and like I said, underneath, oh, and by the way, another thing I always talk about, where are we? Right here. The end of these two gussets where the tilt cylinders hook, all four of them. All four of them were cracked. And they were just welded across, and they weren't done like this. Prime example. Nice blending. I talked about stress risers the other day in a different video. Grinding those real nice and round and making sure the weld is complete around it, and then softening the edge just like this. That's smooth as a baby's butt. And I don't know if that was done in the factory, but it was done very well. Here, I think this was repaired once before. Matter of fact, this one was repaired, but from this side, there again, the axle was in it. There's nothing they could do. They could only do what they could reach here. Now that the axle's out, I can do a full pen weld here. So, all right, next time I'll bring you back for some more goodies. Hey, and by the way, my buddy was here today. I'm doing all this stuff, you know, this welding and whatnot, carbon arcing, and my buddy was here today. I haven't seen him in 6 months, but turns out we've been pals since I was 19 years old. And I'm 48 now? 48, so 29 years. And he was here this morning in the shop, come to visit and drink some coffee, and I'll have to tell you, we talked about old times, and wow. He's just rattling on about all the old guys that he learned from that are dead now. And he's 65, he's ready to retire. And I'm like, wow. So I'm trying to teach you guys, teach people what I can from what I know, and I learned everything from him. So there's 29 years worth of experience, I guess, and I'm thankful that I still have people like him around and that I could learn from back then, the old schoolers as we call them. And now I'm becoming an old schooler, and it's just weird how life comes full circle. But he taught me all that stuff, him and a few other guys, and I'm very grateful to grow up and listen to him. And that's where I learned to do what I do. That's where I got the experience from, hands-on, and from other people. So, yeah, that was my little sob story for the day about, learning from other people. So you young guys out there, find people like me or other people in the welding business if you want to do it. Number one, don't go into welding. It sucks. But if you're gonna do it and do a damn good job and do that, and you won't get work coming back. And I'll progress through the video with more stuff, and then better stuff, and then some more, you know, how I treat this, yada, yada, yada. So here I am, long-winded again, and I know you guys get sick of it sometimes, but sometimes I don't have anybody to talk to on a Sunday afternoon. Shop is empty, so I'll talk to you. Ramble on, ramble on. So yeah, good old Oscar was here. So, okay, as usual, have a good day, have a good night, have a good week. We'll go from there. All right, we'll see you in the next clip. Adios, goodbye.